Hey everyone, John from the Daily Downforce here, and as a hip young Gen Zer, there's nothing that I love more than some memes. Usually the really stupid ones, but you know. And like any online community, the NASCAR fandom is chock full of them. So in this video, I want to explain to you the origins of many of these NASCAR memes and some popular examples of how to use them. Let's get into it. Let's start off with what has pretty much already been crowned as Meme of the Year. Thanks, Ross. Now, it should go without saying, if you know anything about NASCAR, Ross Chastain is a pretty wacky guy. It should come as no surprise that the guy who smashes watermelons in the track and will find literally any available loophole to get a few spots has a few memes made about him. But the Thanks Ross meme has much more to do with Ross's reputation on the track and his tendency to terrorize other drivers. Mostly the ones that drive for Joe Gibbs. In 2022, Ross had already established a pretty rocky relationship between himself and Gibbs drivers Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. So at the Spring Richmond race in 2023, when Christopher Bell overcooked the corner and took out William Byron on a late race restart, he had a perfect scapegoat in mind when he found out who was to his inside.
What happened with the 24? Can you just talk me through that?
Yeah, I mean, the wrecking ball came in and made us 3 wide at the last second, and there wasn't enough room to be 3 wide.
Following this interview, Ross would have a few more incidents at Talladega, Dover, Darlington, and most notably, Kansas. And other drivers in the field followed Bell's lead by usually lumping 100% of the blame on Chastain, whether it was deserved or not. But after Bell's interview at Richmond, most fans realized that Ross might just be getting targeted for the sole reason that he's Ross. If Denny Hamlin stubbed his toe in the middle of the night, he'd probably blame Ross Chastain. And so the Thanks Ross meme was born, where any and all tragic events that have ever happened in human history related to NASCAR or not could somehow all be traced back to Ross Chastain. The dinosaurs going extinct? Yep, that was him. The stock market collapse of 1929? Do I even need to say who started that? This meme blew up so explosively that even Fox started acknowledging it during broadcasts whenever Ross found himself in the middle of another dust-up. But Ross hasn't been in the spotlight much since the spring, so this meme ended up dying off pretty quickly. But rest assured, the next time Ross finds himself in another controversy, you'll probably see your fair share of Thanks Ross memes. Speaking of Fox broadcasts, they managed to invent a bit of a meme themselves. This one is more of an inside joke among the community than a viral image you'd see floating around, but that doesn't make it any less funny. And that's the vortex theory. Many fans associate this theory with Darrell Waltrip, and he's usually the one promoting it during telecasts, but surprisingly, this theory actually comes from the much more sensible Mike Joy, who was proposing it in interviews as early as the 1990s. Basically, the theory is that as race cars go around the track at high speeds, they create a column of hot air that rises and pushes the clouds away. Which means if rain is approaching, don't worry, just keep racing. What could go wrong?
He's got some help with him.
Oh, into the wall they go! The 11 now also caught up in it!
Needless to say, this theory has been debunked several times, not only just through common sense, but by some studies done by actual meteorologists too. Yes, it's that serious. Brad Keselowski even called for an episode of Mythbusters to be made on it a few years ago, which, of course, didn't happen. As far as the Fox broadcasts go, the earliest known mention of it during a race was in the 2003 Daytona 500, again perpetuating the idea that DW is responsible for this theory. And to this day, in 2023, broadcasters and fans alike still mention the infamous vortex theory anytime the threat of rain approaches, making it a meme that's run on for over 30 years now. I don't think we're going to find anything that tops this in terms of longevity. So looping back to some more traditional internet memes, we of course have to talk about reaction images. Most common on platforms like Twitter or Facebook, reaction images can be used to reply to a message with a variety of emotions. And who is better at providing reactions than Kyle Busch? If you've been on NASCAR Twitter for more than 5 minutes, odds are you've probably seen Kyle Busch's face floating around the replies somewhere. Some of the most infamous ones include the crying face he made at Chicagoland in 2018, making fun of the fans booing him for turning Kyle Larson on the last lap, the ever-popular sarcastic thumbs-up reaction that he gave at Bristol when pit reporter Marty Snyder corrected Busch on the part failure that caused him to drop out of the race, and of course, a good old blank stare, which originated from the first superspeedway-style Atlanta race last season, where a less-than-thrilled Kyle Busch crashed out early.
Is it making you more an entertainer than a driver?
Yep. You like this version of Atlanta better than the old one?
Nope. And this is just the beginning. I'm sure with enough looking, you can find a Kyle Busch image that perfectly suits any mood you're in. But if you're looking for a happier reaction image, then Denny Hamlin has you covered with his famous smile mask from the 2020 Darlington race, a race Hamlin would win due to it being rain-shortened. The mask, being a recreation of his own smiling face, quickly gained popularity, and now you can actually find it in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And you might have one of those reaction images ready if you're a Ricky Stenhouse fan, because we have to discuss the infamous Recky Spinhouse meme. Again, like Vortex Theory, this is more of a popular in-joke than anything. But the nickname has gained so much notoriety that it doesn't seem to matter how clean of a season Ricky Stenhouse has, the moment he goofs up once, people would jump back on the Recky Spinhouse train. In his first few years driving for Roush, Stenhouse was already pretty well known for crashing a bit more often than your average driver. But this meme was elevated to the next level the night of the 2018 Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. Remember, the previous year Ricky had won 2 of the 4 superspeedway races and looked to be a favorite again to win this one. Perhaps all that attention as a hotshot plate driver went to his head though, as Ricky would proceed to cause not 1, not 2, but 3 major crashes during the race. In total, he was actually involved in 5 different cautions that night, and the entire industry took notice. Kurt Busch would go on to call the race the #StenhouseDD, short for Demolition Derby. And 3 whole years later, brother Kyle would once again stir the pot, using the Recky Spinhouse nickname during an NBC interview.
Which driver causes the most crashes? It's gotta be Recky Spinhouse, right?
Oh no! Is that what y'all are calling him?
I mean, that's been around for a few years. We'll see how far that takes off. But, you know, he's in quite a few of them, maybe?
Up next, we have some popular commentary moments that have been endlessly memed by the community. Popular NASCAR YouTuber Raw Gator and his many meme compilation videos probably have something to do with that. I mean, can you even think of William Byron anymore without also hearing Rick Allen yell?
Whose racing career started on a computer.
Some other popular lines include,
Brad Keselowski won this race.
Keep your foot in it. Still Keep your foot in it.
And one that has recently been gaining popularity with the many next-gen wheel issues is this clip of Vince Welch famously yelling, "The wheel!" This is actually a small snippet of a longer soundbite from a Gateway truck race where Vince has a rather interesting call to Ross Chastain's win.
Redemption at his hands. The wheel for Ross Chastain is still and perfect, and he has done it.
Yeah, this one was begging to become a meme. And finally, what better way to end off than with some famous racing movie quotes? I could insert the entirety of Talladega Nights in this section of the video, but that might not pass the copyright checks, so instead I'll highlight some of the best ones. Notably, Shake and Bake, Help me baby Jesus, I'm on fire, and while not a quote, the scene of NBC cutting to commercial because the flip was taking too long is hilarious to any NASCAR fan. Certainly there's enough in this movie to appeal to both hardcore and casual NASCAR fans alike. And while it's less of a meme, Days of Thunder's ruinous racing quote has lasted so long, I doubt a lot of younger fans even know it's a movie quote. So those are just a few of the best NASCAR memes and inside jokes explained. Which ones are your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below, but don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos just like this one, and check out dailydownforce.com for more great NASCAR content.